In this video, I'll be talking about setting up rendering providers, staff members, and billing providers. So I'm in the Settings and More Center. Let's click Rendering Providers and Staff, and then we get the Staff and Physician list. I'll double-click on Dr. Banning, who is the rendering provider, the MD on staff in this NowMD sample database. We have several tabs across the top: Personal Information, Office and Employment, Rendering Provider Information, and Notes and Custom Information. On the Personal tab, all this is pretty self-explanatory. You can record whatever information you want here. The Office and Employment tab is a little more important. Under Security Group, we have options of assigning the security groups that are set up in NowMD. These are the default security groups: Administrator, Manager, and Staff Member, and that's how NowMD comes set up. You may have additional security groups that have been added to give additional control over which parts of the program can and can't be used. But in this example, Dr. Banning is an administrator, so we'll accept that setting. Okay. The title, the department, that information is pretty self-explanatory. The Rendering Provider tab, if the staff member that we're setting up provides patient care, then this staff member has to have rendering provider information for the billing, for the services that are rendered. Everyone in an office that accesses NowMD, either for entering or using information in NowMD, or even for clocking in or clocking out on the NowMD time clock, has to be set up as a staff member. But if this staff member provides patient care, then we go to the Rendering Provider tab. Check this box to provide patient care. Credentials, you can select whether this is an entity, a person, or an organization. The name information, the NPI, and the provider UPIN number, or see, this is an alternate ID number selection. If for billing an alternate ID is required, you can pick state license number, provider UPIN, provider commercial number, or location number for this field. Normally it's just the NPI that's used. Specialty code, NowMD comes pre-populated with a specialty database. You select the specialty and the taxonomy code will automatically be filled in below it. You want to check this box: provider's signature is on file and available for audit, along with specifying the signature on file date. The last field on this tab is used for assigning a billing provider to this rendering provider. So two kinds of providers we're talking about: one that provides patient care, and then the billing provider is the provider under which the care from this rendering provider is billed. Now, a billing provider can be a company, a business, a clinic name. It can also be just the provider themselves. Ethan Banning could be the billing provider for this rendering provider. The reason this information is here is because ANSI 5010 insurance claims require identification of a rendering provider and a billing provider. So let's click this magnifying glass and we can see we have a billing provider set up already. So let's go to edit that billing provider and I'll explain the fields here. The code is automatically assigned. You can put in the description of the billing provider. If it's a medical practice, you can type that information here. And then you select the entity type. Either this is a person or an organization. So if it's an organization name, we put the company name, city, state, etc., address, and then the NPI for this business, for this organization. If this is a person, you would similarly fill in the information, the first, middle, and last name of the individual, and then that individual's national provider ID or NPI used for billing. Okay, let's change this billing provider back to an organization. And then let's go to the Contact and Pay To Address tab. Information is found here for the contact information for the individual at the organization that can be contacted. And you can also have an alternate Pay To address, for example, a lockbox at a bank that receives payments for the provider. That information can be entered here.